Good evening. Welcome to another Dream Whiskies live broadcast. It is, of course, the first Wednesday of April, and the first Wednesday of each month is Dream Whiskies live on Facebook. So great to see any of you, all of you that are turning up this evening. As ever, we have a packed program for you. What have we got lined up? Let's have a look. We've got, as ever, 3 whiskey cocktails planned for you this evening. Actually, 3 whiskey cocktails with a bit of a twist. Got kind of a new product sent to me, which I want to share with you. And I've used that new product in all 3 of these cocktails. So I'll show you how that's all going to work out as we go through our broadcast this evening. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about these 2 unbelievable whiskies, which we're giving away in this month's competition. We've got the Hibiki Suntory Japanese Harmony, the Kacho Fugetsu edition. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. Also got this amazing runners-up prize as well. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that as well. What else have we got going on for you? You've got the 3 cocktails. And also, of course, I just need to clear up a bit of housekeeping with you around the Dream Whiskies membership, which those of you who are members know that we have brought the membership to an end. But to be clear, it's the membership we brought to an end, not what we're doing at Dream Whiskies. So I'll just tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But before we get going, you know how it always starts. Starts with a little bit of a whiskey toast and a few hellos who's joined us so far. Jeff, how you doing? Good to see you. Very good. Bruce is there as well. Good to see you, Bruce. Gary Cummins, good evening, Paul and Cheryl and everyone on the Jameson's Black Label tonight. Nice one. I haven't even told you what I got on the go. I've got some Evolution on the go here, which is rather nice cask strength. Barry, greetings from someone who's not here. As ever, Dave Chilton is with us. Good evening, all. Cheryl's there as well, not here as she sometimes is, making the frame of this picture look better, but with us in spirit and on her keyboard, obviously. So Cheryl's there. Bob, how you doing? Good to see you, Bob. Bruce having a shot on my Downmore 18. Love that Downmore 18. I've got to tell you, with a delicious local brew from the New Glarus Brewing. Okay, have I pronounced that correctly? Their Raspberry Tart Ale. Wow, Bruce always knocking the ball out of the park. We got something raspberry tonight as well. Cream cheese Reuben sandwiches are coming right up after the show. Nice one. Michael, how you doing? Hi, how are you? Congratulations to me. This is Bob, by the way. Congratulations to Bob for last week. Bob won last week's members competition. Kieran's there. How you doing? Avril's on the water. Hi, Avril. Paul, how are you? Carl is with us as well. Dalmore tonight. Paul Musson, what you got? Glen Scotia 15, very nice. Kaz is there. Good to see you, Kaz. Always good to see you. And Paul is drinking Highland Park Dragon Legend. All right, so I have got this, the Evolution. Let me just get the bottle. I'll show you the bottle. Here we go, the Glen Glasout Evolution. Really nice drop. Love this one. And I think I've had it on the go before. And got it on the go this evening. So cheers to you all of those who are joining us this evening. Here we go. Nice one. All right, let's get a bit of housekeeping out of the way for those of you that are members. I'll make this quick just so that I don't bore those of you who are not members. But look, I wrote to you all. Hopefully you got the message. Essentially, sadly, it was telling you that we have to end the membership thing with Dream Whiskies. And this is, I could talk to you for ages about this, but it's really simple. The membership just hasn't worked out for us. We don't have enough members signed up to that part of what we do. And it was just costing Dream Whiskies money, and it was sort of going against everything that is working for us. I would love that to have worked, but especially with COVID and people often writing to me and saying, look, COVID, they're out of work or they're on furlough, they've got to cut things back, and of course Dream Whiskies is one of those things to go. It just isn't working, so that's why I've stopped that. But as you can tell from the fact that I'm here tonight, the stuff that is working for us and the stuff that you guys like, which is A, me broadcasting to you on a regular basis, B, the sort of open free-for-all competition, which means if you want to go in, you can pay to enter if you do, and if you don't, you don't, that's fine. Plus other things that we got lined up, like the tastings that I've been talking to you about for quite some time, but we are pretty much on the edge of being able to run our first online interactive tasting with you. All of those things are still in play. We just decided to slim down what we were doing and focus on the stuff that's working. That's it, nothing else. Stick with us, enjoy what we're doing, and keep drinking whiskey with us as well. Bruce, share this with your friends on Facebook. That is Bruce, I think, saying to everybody, share this with you. Thank you for that, Bruce. Okay, look, before we get into tonight's cocktails and so 3 really cool drinks for you as well, I have well, I wanted to show you the prizes that we got up in our open competition. So I know quite a few of you have already entered this, and that's fine. But I think it's always nice to see the prize. Let's get these out of the way. So this month's Dream Whiskey competition, the one that is pay to enter, it's 50 pence an entry. If you haven't entered, you can just go into the, not the comments box, but the just above the comments box, just in the description, I've put the link so you can click through to the link, is this fabulous bottle of whiskey. Now, the Hibiki Japanese Harmony is a fabulous drop anyway. I mean, I've got a bottle of it here. This is the Japanese Harmony Masters Select, which is a gorgeous drop of whiskey. But they released this limited edition one, which they have done with a number of their really prestige whiskies, and decorated it absolutely beautifully. And this is called the Kacho Fugetsu, which I'm going to explain this to you in a second. Now, just to be clear, someone is going to win that potentially for 1 entry. I mean, a lot of you have more than 1 entry, I get that, and that's all fair enough, and so it's costing more than 50p, maybe £1 or whatever it is you put in, but potentially you can win that whiskey for 50 pence, which I think is a pretty good deal. Let me tell you some of the things that are really important about this whiskey that we are giving away. So, the Master Select is a blend of 10 different malt and grain whiskies. They've aged in 5 different types of cask at the Yamazaki, the Hakushu, and the Chita distilleries in Japan. And if you know about your Japanese whiskies, you'll know that that is pretty much the home of where some of the very finest whiskies emanate from in Japan. This one is decorated, the theme is Kacho Fugetsu. Now, a lot of people who don't speak Japanese, me included by the way, I don't speak Japanese, but a lot of people think that Kacho Fugetsu is the name of the artist who decorated it. Actually, what it is it means, it's a Japanese concept, I'm reading this to you, it means to discover yourself when experiencing nature. Literally, Kacho Fugetsu means flower, bird, wind, and moon. But hey, how absolutely beautiful is that? So beautiful, by the way, that when we got this in as a prize, Cheryl said to me, she said, do you have to give that one away as a prize? Can't we just keep that? Don't give it to the Dream Whiskies, guys. We just keep it on our shelf here. But hey, we've done it. We've put it in as a prize, and that's going to be the prize. Now, look, if you enter this competition, remember, link in the description, just 50 pence an entry. If you enter this competition and you don't win, but you come second, now second place, we've got a really fabulous runners-up prize. Let me just put that little booklet up there. We've got this Glenfiddich 125, in other words, 125th anniversary edition. Let me just open it up for you there. Little certificate in there that goes with the whiskey. Here's your bottle of whiskey. You've got a little booklet and this rather nice sort of really heavy, solid copper stopper that goes in. So once you open that, you can use this and pop that in as well. This is actually our runners-up prize. This is surely good enough as a prize, as a winner's prize for any whiskey competition. But in our Hibiki competition, it's either that one or this one. So look, both of these incredible whiskies are up for grabs. If you're not in, get yourself in, click on the link and enter. If you are in and you've got a few spare pennies, a few spare squidlings, then just pop yourself in there. Get in, get a few more chances to win those whiskies. So, remember, link in the description, get over there and do that. Great, all right, very good. Let's move into some of the stuff that we love doing. Actually, before I do that, let's just talk to you guys because you're still talking. See what's going on. A few congratulations to Bob there. Barry saying, I have no friends in the FBI. Talking to, yeah, little typo there. I like that. Very good. Bruce, well, you have us. Okay. FBI, I just realized, good, lovely bottles, says Kaz. They are. I mean, they're both lovely bottles, but I just love not just this one, but the other decorated hibiki bottles that are out there. I mean, some of them really go for thousands of pounds as well, which would be great if we could put one of those up. But I'm sure that if I had one of those bottles here, Cheryl definitely wouldn't let me give it away as a prize. Barry agreeing with Kaz. Cheryl says she's definitely going to hide it. Super envious of the person that wins it. Yes, we've had a lot of tears over this being given away as a prize, I have to tell you, Paul. I have a great cabinet you can hide it in. Here's Paul talking to Cheryl there. All right, look, let's make a cocktail, shall we? Time to make some cocktails. Now, the first cocktail that I'm making this evening is something that I call a whiskey blueberry sour. And before I start to make the cocktail, I'm going to show you, I don't even know, they might be watching right now. I did tell them that we were broadcasting tonight. Or they might not be. They might be picking this up on record, which a lot of you do. But this is a little company called Fruit for Drinks. Let me show you. There we go. There's a pouch here. These are blueberries, right? Fruit for Drinks. Oh, sorry, Fruits for Drinks. Fruits for Drinks. Now, they produced what are essentially freeze-dried fruits for drinks. But really thinking mostly about the idea of garnishes and helping bars and pubs who have lots of wastage with fruits at the end of the shift. They have to throw stuff away which they can't keep overnight. It doesn't stay fresh. This way, you freeze dry it, you put it in your drink, it kind of reconstitutes. It's really aromatic and flavoursome and does a brilliant job. And I had a little chat with them, and they're very nice people there, and they sent me a few samples. But what I found was, rather than just use them as garnishes, they actually work really well as ingredients in cocktails. Because they're freeze-dried, they hold so much flavour and so much colour as well. And I've found that you can put them in as an ingredient and either muddle them or crush them or whiz them up, and it adds flavour and colour to it that you wouldn't necessarily get from regular fruit, or you wouldn't necessarily get from adding a liqueur. So that's how I've been messing around with them. And I'm going to share 3 drinks with you tonight that do this. So the first one is this whiskey blueberry sour, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you make it. So I'm going to start with my Boston glass. My Boston glass here. I'm going to take a lemon and I'm going to squeeze the juice. Let's just cut that in half. I'm going to squeeze the juice of the whole lemon, and I need the juice in there for what I'm going to do. So let's get the whole lemon in there. I don't mind whether you're using a small lemon or a large lemon. Just get the whole lemon into your drink. Let's just pop that to the side. Let's get this over here like so. Here we go. Very good. It's probably about 25, 30 ml, something like that. There we go. Let's pop that to the side as well, and just get that over there. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these little Fruits for Drinks blueberries, and I'm going to show you, before I put them in, I'm going to show you what they look like. So here we are. I've used quite a few of these little samples, so I'm going to use the rest of them in this drink. Let's just pop that little bag back there. So look, this is what they look like. As you might imagine, these are little freeze-dried blueberries. But the aroma is there, but not really until you actually put them in something like lemon juice or water or tonic or whatever it happens to be. Once you drop them in, they come to life. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop them in here, let them start to absorb some of the lemon juice, and then I'm going to add the remaining ingredients, or most of the remaining ingredients. So obviously we're doing a whiskey sour, so let me find my whiskey. And I want to put in 35 ml of our whiskey. Actually, the whiskey that I'm using is a Glenlivet 12 for our cocktails. It's just slightly different to the one that I'm drinking, obviously. So let's get 35 ml of our whiskey in there. That's good. Can you see already, without actually doing anything at all, it's started to have an impact on the colour of the drink. That's what's amazing about this as an ingredient. I'm also going to add a little bit of blackberry liqueur, because I found that actually when making this drink, it goes really well with the other ingredients. So I'm going to put 20 ml of creme de mure in there. Here we are. Just up to 20, it's good. Let's pop that in. That's very good. Our sweetener for this, obviously we've got some sweetness from the creme de mure. But the sweetness, rather than put in sugar, I'm going to be putting in a vanilla sugar, or in this case a vanilla syrup. And I want 10 ml of our vanilla syrup. So let's get that in there. Let's just measure that out. Been watching quite a lot, I guess because of the Japanese whiskey that we're giving away, but I've been watching quite a lot of cocktail videos recently of Japanese bartenders doing their stuff, and really not so much because of the recipes, because, you know, they're making the same sort of stuff that we make all over the world, really. So it's good to see them do it, but nevertheless, that's not really what I've been watching. I just love the style of Japanese bartenders. Everything about the way they make drinks is so completely reverent and respectful, and there's so much style to it, and it's backhand pouring, but not in a very European or American way. It's very Asian, Japanese way, very subtle and understated, but stylish. And I don't even know why I really started mentioning it. Oh yeah, because of the way I was just pouring that and thinking about actually how we look so much more relaxed, and the Japanese just got something about the way they make cocktails. Look, so I've been talking for a little while. Those blueberries have been really letting their aroma and flavour go. But before I do anything in terms of mixing this up, I need to break them down. That's what I want to do. I want to break them down into this. So I'm going to whiz them up. So I'm going to get my hand blender in there. There we go. And I'm just going to give that a good whiz for about 10 seconds maybe. Whole idea of this, there we go, is to get some of those, in fact most of those blueberries broken down, because I want, obviously I'm going to double strain this to get the tiny little bits out, but I want as much of the flavour that they give. And you can already see, I mean, yeah, I know we got creme de mure in there, but you can already see what is happening to this drink. Now, I'm going to add some ice and we're going to give this a shake, but that won't be the end of it. So let's get some ice into my tin. Let's get those into there. I'm going to get my glass, a nice little Nick and Nora, and we're going to give this a shake. So here we go. All right. So normally I would pour this out, but I've got something else going on here with this drink as well. So I want to strain this off the ice. Let's get everything back in. I'm going to get rid of the ice that's in this shaker. There we go. It's looking good. And I'm going to do something else to this drink as well. Now, those of you who drink sours are pretty familiar with the inclusion of egg white, often in the sour, to give the drink a really frothy head. Now, another new product that I've got on the bar at the moment is this little tube. Again, this is a sample. It's called Foamy. And by adding a few drops of Foamy to your cocktail and then giving it what they call a reverse dry shake, you can actually create a foamy head on cocktails that ordinarily wouldn't have a foamy head. Or for that matter, instead of putting in things like egg white, I don't know, for vegans, for example, you can still create a foamy head. Now, this is how it works. They say a reverse dry shake. So you undo this. It's a little pipette. And I'm going to add 3 drops, 1, 2, 3, to the shaker. Now, I should have shaken this actually with the ice, but nevertheless, you take it off the ice, and then dry shake means you give it another shake, but without the ice still in there. So let's get that in there. Give it another shake. Obviously silent because there's no ice flying around the place, but this activates the foamy, which I'm going to get to here. There we go. Let's open that up, and then I'm going to pour that all through our fine strainer to catch any other little bits of the fruits for drinks blackberries. And what you will see quite beautifully is sour, wonderful colour obviously, will settle to the top. The foam also comes to the top. No egg white in this sour, even though it looks like there absolutely is. And there we go. Drink number 1 for the evening, our Whiskey Blueberry Sour, also with a splash of foamy in there. I think these new ingredients are starting to make for a really great new take on a lot of the cocktails that we're making. I'm going to have a little taste. Actually, I'm not going to taste it just yet because I want the official photographer to come in and take a few shots. Obviously, we'll post them up on the Facebook page as well with the recipes. But yeah, what do you think? Great looking drink. Look at the head on that. Amazing, isn't it? Oh, just a little bit of fluff. Let's put that to the side there. Right, let's just rinse these out. Before we go on to our next cocktail of the evening, I don't know whether you know, but it's been the World whiskey awards over the last week or so. All the different categories of whiskey have been awarded, the best in the world in all sorts of different categories. I thought what I'd do is have a little chat with you, share some of the results, get your thoughts, see what you think. What would you have put in place? Do you agree? Let's have a look. Let's get my little iPad here. All right. By the way, who's talking to us here? Here we go. Where are we? Kaz is saying, is it just me or is anybody else's picture gone out of focus? Okay for me, says Cheryl. Paul says it's okay. Fine for me. I think it must be you, Carol. Kaz. Actually, I've said Carol as if Kaz is short for Carol. That was just a complete slip of the tongue. But if that is the case, that would be quite a coincidence, wouldn't it? But Kaz, is the picture better? Hopefully it's better now. Gary saying lost connection altogether there, but back, hopefully. Yeah, I think so. You must have the same ISP as me, Gary. It's popped back into focus now, says Kaz. Fabulous colour. Okay, so you got the focus on the drink just at the right time. Paul saying that's neat. Bruce looks awesome. Steal that one, Cheryl. And she has just done that, hasn't she? All right, brilliant. So let's see where we are. So World Whiskey Awards this week. And let's pull a few of these out. So here we go. So the world's best blended was Dewar's Double 21-year-old. I don't know if it's actually double or double, but the 21-year-old. Apparently last year it was the 32-year-old that won the category. Now it's the 21-year-old. A series of whiskies created by Dewar's master blender Stephanie McLeod. Who's tried it? Any of you tried it? I've got to be honest with you, not tried it myself. I have tried a number of the Dewar's whiskies, which actually I think are pretty good. I really do like Dewar's. I had here, where is it? Oh, I've got a bottle of Dewar's Signature, which I cracked open midway through lockdown in that sort of period where we were thinking we were coming out of it before we went back into it. With my father-in-law, who I'm not sure whether he's watching tonight or not, and we had a little shot of that each, and that was gorgeous, I have to say. But any thoughts? Any of you drunk that? If you were going to pick your own best blended, based obviously on the whiskies that you drink, as opposed to, I assume, a panel that has tasted pretty much every top blended whiskey that's out there, what would you go for? Which one would you pick? Kaz is saying it's short for Karen. What did I say? I said Carol, didn't I? What did I say? I said Carol, yeah. Yeah, I was close. Nice one, Kaz. I'm just going to jump over a few. Best blended malt. Love this one. So best blended malt was given to Chivas Regal Altis, which again is another whiskey that I cracked open a few months ago, and I tried, and I've got to say, I think it is spectacular. Really good. I mean, I love the bottle as well. Let me see if I can just pull that out. I might be able to pull that out. But while I'm talking about these, what would you have gone for? If you had to pick a blended as the world's best blended, what would it be? Yeah, here we go. I just so happen to have some Chivas Altis here. If you haven't seen the bottle, I think the bottle is a work of art. Let's open this up. Here we go. Oh, it looks like we drank more than I thought. that will be my father-in-law there. Here we go. But that's the Altis. Don't you love the bottle? I mean, normally you get this sort of styling on really expensive decanters with sort of £2,000, £3,000, £4,000 whiskies in there, which this is not. I mean, you know, it's a fairly pricey whiskey, but it's definitely not out of the reach of everyone like so many whiskies are. But that is a gorgeous drop, and that won the best blended malt. And what I didn't realise was that this is the first blended malt from Chivas. They've never done another blended malt. This is the first one that they did, which is interesting, isn't it? I suppose we know that Chivas specialise in blended whiskies, but hey, how about that? So, any of your thoughts? What have you got here? Cheryl saying, wow, I can really taste the blueberries. Avril, I always go for Famous Grouse blend. Well, Famous Grouse, we know, it's extremely popular. I think it's got to be one of the top selling blended whiskies. There's no doubt about that. Any other thoughts? What would you go for out there? Talk to me. Let me know. Bruce, you're a bit of a whiskey connoisseur, a drink connoisseur, a mixologist yourself, in spirit, if not in terms of job title. Certainly got all of that going on. What would you go for? What would you go for a blended? Dave, what are you saying? Black Bottle is a very cheap blending whiskey, but I think it's a blend of only a couple of Islay malts. It's so close to a good single malt at about £15 a bottle. Actually, I had a bit of Black Bottle a little while ago, and I got to say, it's a pretty good whiskey. Actually, the bottle is challenging, isn't it? It's a bit like an old apothecary bottle, which I think the styling really makes it stand out. Paul, what are you saying? Recently purchased the Johnnie Walker Green, and maybe a little bit controversial, but I prefer it to the blue. Paul, loving the controversy. Love that. Yes. So Gary then immediately comes in with Johnnie Walker Blue and an apology for Paul. Bruce, only in my dreams, Paul. Okay. Okay. That's interesting though, isn't it? I once had a discussion with somebody about Macallan 10 and, you know, when you could get it at a reasonable price, and Macallan 18. And he was saying that he thought that the 10 was far superior to the 18. And I think quite a lot of people think that as well. But the Green, I've had a couple of bottles of that over the years, the Green, and I think it's a really good drop. Yeah, nice one. Maybe I should leave Gary and Paul in the corner to fight that one out with a bottle in each hand. Jeff is saying the Royal Salute 21 Snow Polo was tasty. Now that is interesting. So obviously Jeff won that. From us, unless he went and bought another one as well. And I've not tasted that. I do like the bottle though. I think the bottle's fantastic. Paul, quite like the Cutty Sark Prohibition. Actually, I'll tell you what, got that here. Cutty Sark Prohibition. I think that is a really nice drop of whiskey. It's for me. I don't know about you, Paul, what you pick from it, because Paul, obviously, my knowledge of you is you've got a real taste for those kind of smoky Islay style whiskies. Obviously you like Jura. I know you're a big Jura fan, so you like a bit of peat in there. But for me, this one here is almost like I don't know, it's almost like a sherry bomb, really. It's got so much sort of toffee and caramel in it. Really nice drop, that is, definitely. Yeah, good. Interesting thoughts, everybody. Oh, here, drinks come back. Let's give it a try. Wow. I tell you what, and I've been saying this to the guys, we had a little chat, the guys at Fruits for Drinks, that I know they didn't set out to create these fruits as an ingredient. It was much more about this whole idea of garnishes that you wouldn't get any waste and you got great flavour and aroma from them. But wow, they really are amazing ingredients. Loving those, really love that drink. Okay, right, so we'll come back to the World Whisky Awards after our next cocktail, but our next cocktail, also using some of these Fruits for Drinks bits and pieces, is, I call it a Watermelon Cooler Deluxe. So, Watermelon Cooler, I've actually made one of these probably about a year or so ago on one of these broadcasts. Oh, hold on a second before I do that. We're saying, Gary, on the other end of the price spectrum, I like Monkey Shoulder. Yeah, me too. Bruce's Crown Royal Black Label is my daily sipper, affordable, and it tastes almost the same as Dalmore 18 for a quarter of the price. Is that right? Is that right? Does the Crown Royal Black Label taste like Dalmore 18? I absolutely have to try that now because I'm not familiar with the Crown Royal Black Label at all. So, yeah, okay, thank you for that. Brilliant tip. Watermelon Cooler Deluxe, next cocktail. I'm calling it the Deluxe because I've sort of upped it by putting in some of these sort of fruits for drinks. This time, there's the sort of freeze-dried strawberries. So let's get the strawberries out. I'm not going to whiz them this time though. This time what we've got on the go is a different technique. So I'm going to take my glass. Now I've used quite a lot of these. If I was making this from scratch with a whole new pack of these, I'd probably put some more in, but I've only got a few of these freeze-dried strawberries. These are a little bit spongy, actually, which I think is intentional. But it makes the muddling of them slightly more challenging. But actually, I think muddling them is the best way to go. So you can see these are strawberries. Actually, funnily enough, they really throw some aroma. I mean, the aroma is fantastic and fresh. So it's not like getting strawberry flavour. For example, those of you who know Cheryl know she likes cherry, but you might not know that she doesn't like strawberry. Or rather, she likes fresh strawberry, but she doesn't like the sort of smell or taste of artificial strawberry flavour, which I think a lot of people are the same. Now, these are not like that. This is bam, fresh strawberry. I mean, incredible aroma coming up of this. Anyway, okay, so start with the strawberry. Next thing I'm going to do, obviously, is I'm going to add our whiskey. So I'm going to put in, here we go. We want, oh, where are we? There we go. So I'm going to go 40 ml of our whiskey. Remember, the whiskey that I'm using in here is going to live at 12 as opposed to the one that I'm drinking in the glass. That will start to leach colour and flavour as well while I'm getting the other ingredients. So the other ingredients I'm going to add, as you would do in a standard watermelon cooler, some watermelon liqueur. Now you can either do it with a kind of ogre melon type green melon liqueur, that's fine. A lot of people use Midori, for example, which is green. But I'm using this one, which is also red in colour. But the combination of this watermelon, so fresh with the strawberries as well. Just add a little bit of that in. I don't want to add too much at this stage because I'm now going to try and crush it. Now, normally when I muddle fruit, I only just sort of dampen it, but I really wanted this to absorb some of the liquid from the whiskey first. So just going to take it easy so that I don't sort of splash all over the place, but really start to squeeze these down. And wow, honestly, I feel like there's a waterfall of aroma flowing out of this. Just incredible, really incredible. I'm actually quite excited about this as a new ingredient. Really amazing for flavour. I mean, they look great, obviously, as garnishes, and that's, I think, they're a major market. But within the cocktail world, wow. What else are you guys saying? Loads of chat going on here. Backing out here. Got a bottle of that in my cupboard. Oh, talking about the Crown Royal. Is that right? The Crown Royal. Averil Sun bars don't have malts and famous grouse, but there is always a monkey shoulder. Yeah, I think it's the second one saying monkey shoulder. I think it's really nice. Paul, they released a smoky black in it, which I'm keeping an eye out for. Fantastic. I'm with Cheryl. Strawberry should only be eaten straight from the plant, says Avril. Bonus Crown, tried the smoky black, it's good, brilliant. Wow, look at you guys, you're always ahead of me with our whiskies. All right, so watermelon, our whiskey, obviously. I've got the fruits for drink strawberries in there. Going to bring the watermelon now up to, obviously I'm doing this one by eye, normally I would measure this for you, but I'm now bringing that up to 25 ml. And now what I want to do is I want to add some juice. So we're adding, let's just get this. I've got an apple and mango mix here. And I'm going to put in 50 ml of that. Let's get that right the way up to the top. Actually, I'm going to put 60. It needs a little bit more in there. We go. So 60 ml. That's very good. Finally, I'm going to add some grenadine. I want to really help to drop the colour. I'm going to add some sweetness, obviously, to it as well. And I'm putting in 10 ml of our grenadine. Excellent, and we are kind of ready to give that a shake. Now, I gave that a muddle. We're going to give this a shake. That will also help to break down those freeze-dried strawberries. And then we're going to double strain it again to take the little bits out of it, but most of that wonderful flavour and colour in there as well. So let's get this in. Here we go. Let's pop that into our shaker. Close that up. Where's my glass? It's got the glass there. And let's give it a really good shake. All right, looking good. That's very good. Let's get our strainer. Going to get my double strainer out again. Actually need a little bit of ice in my glass. There we go. And then let's double strain this in. Again, you know, those of you that know me, I don't over double strain drinks, but because of the little muddled freeze-dried fruits in there, this is the best way of getting all the best in terms of colour and flavour from them without the little bits dropping into the drink, which I don't want when I'm using this as an ingredient. So I have essentially taken the heart out of those freeze-dried fruits, and their hearts are beating loud in our cocktail. So just going to add a little more ice to this. Let's bring that up. I guess I could garnish that with something like strawberry, actually. Fresh strawberry, or some fruit for drinks strawberries. Again, a little freeze-dried. They kind of look quite natty on top of there, but I'm not going to drink it until it's been photographed. It really smells fantastic. I love these ingredients. And really, yeah, fresh and strawberry, as if I've just blended up a load of fresh strawberries straight out of the field into that drink. There we go. Oh, here we go. That's handy. Just going to use that for a garnish. So I'm going to take the strawberry. I'm actually going to try and... actually, let me show you what I'm doing rather than do it down here. So I quite like to keep the stalk on the top. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut that side of the green. I'm going to flip it over. Just hold the stalk on the top again. There we go. I'm going to cut that side as well. This is a really simple, nothing fussy here. Little nick in the bottom, but I quite like to keep the green on the top. Let's pop that over the side like so. There we go. Pretty? Did we say pretty? What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Are we good? Nice one. All right, I'll be in for a little taste of that shortly after our official photographer has had a little go at that. But there you go, that's number 2. What have we got going on here? I've just seen the word COVID mask. What's this? Cheryl's saying to Bruce, dedication to your cause. Paul saying, I need a COVID mask with whiskey in on the front. Ah, okay. Fair enough. Also, the mask is dual purpose, right, from front side of the Crown Royal. Oh, I see what you're doing. I've missed the beginning of that conversation. That's what happens when you're not actually involved in the conversation. Kaz is saying, another beautiful colour. Thank you very much, Kaz. Barry saying, I prefer the colour of this one. Brilliant, loving that as well. Paul, if the next cocktail is green, you have a traffic light system. The next cocktail is not green. It's not green. There you go. Right, let's put that one over there. Cheers to you on this one, because this one is gorgeous. Oh, right. Okay. So one more cocktail to do coming up shortly. But let's go back into our World Whisky Awards, because I'm really interested in your thoughts on some of these, and again, what you would put up, what you would pick. So I picked a few for you there. Interestingly, best Canadian blended. Any ideas? Royal Canadian Small Batch Canadian Whisky. There you go. Royal Canadian Small Batch Canadian Whisky. It's owned by well-established drinks company Sazerac. Royal Canadian whiskies usually aim for a softer profile, so there you go. What's that? That looks great. Cheryl's saying to Bruce, can you put it on your head for bar mitzvah? What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the mask. Multi-purpose. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Why not? Get as many uses out of it as possible. Best corn whiskey, Iron Root Republic Hubris. Wow. Apparently Iron Root received the best bourbon last year, but will have to make do with reclaiming the best corn whiskey prize, which they also received in 2019, with a whiskey matured in European oak. What else have we got here? Let's jump over a few of these. Okay, best pot still whiskey. Now, this is a whiskey that I absolutely have tried. And I think I agree with this. I mean, this is a proper decent whiskey. I was going to say to you, do you want to guess? But it takes so long for your comments to come through. So hold on a second.
You
right.
need to read the full.
Bruce's, I need to what?
You need to read the full thing. I've replied to Bruce. We need to read the thing.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm way out of the loop on that. That's fine. It doesn't matter that I don't understand what conversations are going on between people. That's absolutely fine. Bruce is saying, haven't tried that yet, which again is the same conversation, I think. Right. All right. So Gary's going for Green Spot. So Gary, you're going for Green Spot for the best pot still whiskey. That's my guess. Which is a gorgeous whiskey. Yeah, but I think the one that they've picked is. I'm going to tell you what it is. You come in with what you would go for. They've gone for Redbreast 21-year-old. And if you've never tried Redbreast whiskies, you are missing out. That is for sure. Their core range, of which there's 5 of them. They got the Lustau, the 10, is it? The 12? Oh, no, 10 or 12, can't remember. 15, 21, cask strength. They are all gorgeous. Loving that one. Any other thoughts, everybody? Let me know what you think. Best rye, lot number 40 dark oak. Best single barrel bourbon, tumbling dice bourbon single barrel proof. They should actually have something to. So I just seen Paul's comment. I think they should have something for the best name or the most convoluted name. Paul's put, don't understand, question mark, welcome to my world mostly. Paul Slade, Redbreast, great choice. Yeah, I think so. Gary's saying that is a cracker. Only tried the 12 and 15. It's 12 in there. I said 10, but it's 12. 12 and 15, yeah. They are amazing. The 21 is a gorgeous drop. We gave a bottle of that away. Can't remember when it was. I think it's a couple of years back now, actually. We had a bit of a Redbreast package prize, didn't we? Where we gave one of each. So all 5 bottles went in the same prize. But yeah, really fabulous whiskies. Really love those. So what I'm going to do is, obviously we've got one more whiskey cocktail coming up, and I'm going to do the whiskey cocktail for you in a second. It's a raspberry chocolate ripple, which is rather nice. And then the final one that I'm going to do with you in terms of the whiskey awards is I'm going to reveal the world's best, as decided by the World Whiskey Awards, the world's best single malt. Now, if you read the news, then you already know this, but if you don't, think about it. What do you think it could be this year? The world's best single malt. In fact, while I'm making this next cocktail, if you want to put in your guesses, by the way, guesses, if you know the answer already, don't write it down, don't put it in the comments, but if you don't and you want to have a guess, this year's world's best single malt, put it in the comments. When I've done this last cocktail, I will tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is. Right, let's get this over here. That's very good. Still drinking this. I haven't done cocktail competitions for years. I used to do them a lot in my 20s and 30s. It's a good way of establishing a reputation. Well, it's a good way of establishing a reputation if you win some of them. Obviously not so good if you never win them. But I have to say, occasionally come up with a recipe or two where you think this one is good. I'd love to enter this into a modern competition. The last one that I did was that grapefruit iguana, which I've evolved a few ways and in different directions over the last few months. But that I remember just thinking, this is an absolute cracker. And this is the most recent one, I think. I just love this whiskey blueberry sour using the ingredients I did. It's absolutely magnificent. Right, what are you saying to me? Are you putting in your guess? Dave's saying we would suspect it may be Japanese, but don't know which one. Bruce is saying, I bet the world's best isn't the most costly one, is it? Question mark. What does that tell you? I will reveal after this last cocktail. So the last cocktail that we're going to do is this raspberry chocolate ripple. I'm going to put it in a glass that you've seen before. I've got loads of nice glasses now. Honestly, I'm so pleased with these retro glasses. I've got a whole thing about retro glasses. Can never decide which ones to use, but I do end up having sort of unintentional favourites. So I'm going to put a sugar rim on this glass now. In this last cocktail, what have I done here? Have I lost? Oh, there it is. Right, okay. In this last cocktail, I'm going to be using the fruits for drinks. I said I was using them in all 3. I'm using their raspberries, their freeze-dried raspberries. I'm using it in 2 ways. One is in the drink, and the other way is that I actually ground them up in a mortar. I don't think you can see. I think the light is too bright, but how about if I do that? Okay, there we go. So can you see this is sugar? And I put in a couple of the fruits for drinks freeze-dried raspberries. And then I took the pestle, ground the whole lot down. And I've got this sort of pink blush raspberry sugar hybrid for rimming the glass, and it's great because it adds aroma, colour, it looks good. So that's what I'm going to start with. Going to just get that little bit of lemon juice on there, and let's drop that in like so. That will prepare our glass. There we go. Okay, can you see? That's nicely sitting on the edge. From what I can tell from the picture just looks like sugar. It's kind of, but live here, it's difficult for you to see. I've got a light there, obviously shining on, but it's much more pink than that. Anyway, so look, there we go. We got this sort of raspberry sugar rim that's going on the glass. Let me just get these bits and pieces out of the way. And then really, we are 4 simple ingredients. So I'm going to take my 3-piece shaker. Let's put that over there. So you're not going to be able to see the ingredients, but I will show you what's going on. So the first ingredient are going to be what is remaining of my fruits for drinks, freeze-dried raspberries. Those of you who love making drinks at home, you're going to be desperate to get hold of these, I know that. And I mean, if you Google them, you can find them straight away. Really easy. Now, unfortunately, I only have 2 of these left. I would normally be putting in, I don't know, I'd probably put in sort of 5 or 6 of these. But 2 actually still adds quite a lot of flavour. Now, those go in there. You see? There they are. There they are. Now, in this case, I'm actually going to break these down before I put anything in. So these 3 drinks, I've actually used those ingredients in slightly different ways. This time I'm going to smash them down with this. I'm going to try and create a bit of a powder really. And because they're freeze dried, they do tend to break down into a powder. There we go. Alright, that's looking good. Let me see if I can show you what's going on there. Just need to rinse this out because I'm going to be using this. There we go. Is that good? Yeah, alright. Can you see it's now kind of more granulated? I wouldn't say a powder, more like a crumb really, but broken it down so it's much smaller, lots more pieces are going to release a lot more flavour. Next ingredient, you know what's going in first, of course, it's going to be our whiskey. And this time I want 30 ml, so just under the 35 that I often use for a lot of these cocktails, but I want 30 ml. Again, I'm using this Glenlivet 12. Decided to go mostly Speyside this week for our cocktail whiskies. Now I'm going to add some creme de cacao, but the white one. So cacao is sort of chocolate vanilla flavour. Let's get that in there. There we go. And I'm putting in 25 ml. That. Here we are. That's good. Now remember, I've put no colour in here at all. The only colour that might appear is going to come from those freeze-dried raspberries. So natural fruit colour coming out of those. And then the last thing I'm going to put in is, of course, some cream. And we like a bit of cream in this style of cocktail. So we're going to get it right up to the top, so I'm going to go 45, not all the way to top, there is a 5 ml gap, this is a 50 ml measure, but 45 ml, good, that's good. Let's pop that over here. Now before I shake this, I actually couldn't think of the word shake there for a second, but before I shake this, oh, what is this? Bruce, of course, freeze drying your own. So there you go, well done Bruce, that's pretty cool. Before I do that, I'm going to give it a stir because I want to start blending some of those flavours. And I can actually smell this cocktail coming together really nicely. Let's just put some of that in the back of my hand. The flavour is definitely flying through that drink. Let's get some ice in here now. That's good. Let's put that on the top. There we go. Let's see. Oh, I see what you're doing. Right, you're putting in some of your thoughts. Right, come back to those in a second. Here we go. Let's go for a 3-piece cocktail, Japanese style shaker. They would do it with more refinement than me. But this is mixing up really nicely. And I don't really have to get the double strainer out of this one because these little perforations in the top of the shaker kind of do the job. Now I could obviously do the double strainer, but any little tiny bits that come through, I'm quite happy to have them in this. I think the raspberries work quite well, probably better than some of the others. That's why I double strained some, not this one, but there we go. See how we go. And can you tell from where you are? This is a wonderful natural pink blush. I don't think you can. I just think the light is too bright for you. But trust me when I say there is an obvious pink blush. The pink comes from those raspberries. You've got the wonderful chocolate flavour coming through from the creme de cacao. Obviously our cream, our whiskey base. You can smell that it's a chocolate and raspberry ripple. There you go. And actually, if you look in the bottom, there's tiny little flecks in the bottom, are tiny little pieces of raspberry. And I'll tell you what's quite interesting about those little bits of raspberry. They tend to also retain, albeit very subtly, but a slight crunch. They're quite nice. It's almost like having popping candy without the popping bit going on in there as well. But there you go. Those are our 3 cocktails for this evening. And let's have a look. Here we go. And that brings us back to that question that I posed to you before I went into that. Let's see what you guys are going for. So I said to you, what was chosen as the world's best single malt at the World Whisky Awards. Let's see what you've got. There we go. I've gone a bit too far up. Sorry, just looking at your comments here. Dave Chilton would suspect it may be Japanese. Don't know which one. Bruce is saying, I bet it isn't the most costly one. Gary is saying, Macallan, it wins everything. Paul saying, I know what I would vote for, but it will not be the one. For me, it would be a Talisker 25-year-old. Okay. Dave saying, can just about see a pink tinge. I mean, it's subtle, Dave. If you actually manage to see that on the screen, then it's not far off what the reality of it is here. It's probably slightly more pink than you can see, but it's a bit like my face. See, my face actually is looking probably slightly whiter than it actually is. It's right at the moment, it's pretty pink because it's very hot behind me. Bruce, and try freeze drying your. Okay, so look, here we go. I don't know if you're going to be surprised about this or not, but the world's best single malt this year, Glenallachie 10 Batch 4. The Glenallachie 10 Batch 4. Now, I haven't tried it, so I have no comment to make. What I do have to say, though, is going back to, I think, what Bruce said here about, I bet the world's best isn't the most costly one, and what does that tell you? I think that tells you a lot, because it's not the most costly one at all. And even taking Paul's choice of a Talisker 25, I mean, let's be honest, a Talisker 25 is going to cost a fair sight more than the Glenallachie 10. And then you've also got the idea, if you remember the last time I broadcast, I was talking to you about the second half of that incredible world's greatest auction, where they got rid of a Macallan 1926 for, I've just got the price down here something. Well, it went for over £1 million anyway. So does price of whiskey relate to how nice it is? If you blind taste whiskey constantly and people tell you nothing about it, remember, a little bit like that Glenlivet Alpha that we gave away in last month's competition, that was all about the idea that they were saying, we're not going to tell you what's in this bottle. We're not going to give you any clues. We're not going to tell you how old it is, what barrels it's been in, you know, how long it's been aged for. We're not going to tell you anything about it at all. So does that then affect how you feel about it? I think it does. I don't know if I've told you guys this story, but I was invited out to France some years ago as part of an I told you part of this story because I know I've told you this, but I was invited out to France to Cognac as part of an international delegation of mixologists who were invited there to collaborate on the creation of the world's next great cognac-based cocktail. So I was one of 3 guys from the UK. There were guys from all over the world. There were 3 from the US, right the way throughout Central and Eastern Europe. There was 45, 50 of us, I think, journalists there, the whole thing. And we spent 3 days collaborating trying to come up with this ultimate new cognac-based cocktail. And of course, it turned out that the cocktail we came up with between all of us actually was nice, but it never became the next classic because it missed the point, really. The exercise missed the point. The only thing that makes a classic is actually people saying, I love this cocktail, rather than a bunch of bartenders saying to people, this is the next great cocktail. Anyway, that's not really the story. The story is that as part of our trip, we were taken to fabulous sort of dinners and we went to chateaus and all the rest of it. And we were invited to Remy Martin. And at Remy Martin, they did a fabulous presentation to us, which ended up with a light show in this room that we were in, and the curtains opened, and sitting on top of a pedestal in a Baccarat crystal decanter was a bottle of Remy Martin Louis XIII, which, if you know it or not, is their absolute ultimate prestige cognac. It's an iconic bottle. It sells for thousands of dollars, thousands of pounds, and I had always wanted to try it. And I'd never tried it. I'd never had the opportunity to try it. I certainly didn't have the money to buy it. And on that day, after that presentation, they poured a shot for everyone in the room of this stuff. This is a cognac which is made of 100-year-old cognacs. Right, so we talk about whiskies being blended for 60, 70-year-old cask whiskies. This was a 100-year-old cognac. That's what they use for this Louis XIII. And I tried it, and after all these years of wanting to try it, this incredibly iconic and expensive, it tasted kind of okay. And I remember thinking, had I not known what it was, I probably wouldn't have thought anything about it at all. I would definitely have probably preferred the VSOP to that stunning, iconic brandy. So how much does the information about the whiskey or what's on the label or the price influence how we taste it? I just think that is a fascinating question. And I don't think we can get away from the fact that it does influence what we taste. Definitely. But anyway, that being the case, 10-year-old has won it. A 10-year-old has won the world's best single malt. Gary, what are you saying there? Definitely not everyone's taste is different, and some of the cheaper whiskies are beautiful. I paid dear for peated whiskey, which tasted like it came straight from the peat bog. My point entirely. It's. I mean, it's always in the eye of the beholder, and nobody can tell you, can they? No one can say to you, right, that is better than that. They can definitely say that is older than that. That has been blended to a higher specification. We've had, the greatest experts involved in it. You've had to wait 75 years for it to be aged and blended and filtered. They can tell you that, but they can't say it's better, can they? Isn't that just an opinion? And is it better than somebody's opinion who is different and doesn't have the same expertise? I love that question. I don't know what the answer is. How about the rest of you? Any thoughts? Any thoughts on what I'm saying as I've been prattling along? Part of me prattling along, by the way, was giving you a chance to make some comments, which apart from Gary, none of you did. Cheers anyway. So look, we are getting towards the end of our broadcast here this evening. What I do want to say is, for those of you that have been members over the last year, thank you hugely for your support in that. But we are not gone. This is not Dream Whiskies ending. This is Dream Whiskies streamlining and focusing on what's going to work. And we've been doing Dream Whiskies now, believe it or not, for 6 years, I think, which is incredible, really. And many of you have been with us for that time. And so everything that we do, and the reason why we keep going, is because we keep trying to get it on the right track. And I kind of feel that we probably are now on the right track, finding the things that are working for us and working for us well. So these broadcasts will just continue because I love doing them. I know that you guys who watch it live really enjoy it. Plus, actually, everybody who's not watching this live but watching this later, I think we end up by the end of the live one, maybe 200-300 people have tuned in, dropped out, tuned in, dropped out. By the end of the week, about 1,000 of you watched it, so it definitely makes it worth my while. I'm really happy to do them. I like sharing this stuff with you. But everything else, we're sort of onwards and upwards. So stick with us and just sort of keep on rocking, really. Bruce, nothing like waiting 100 years to find you should have drunk it 90 years ago. I love that. I absolutely love that. Onwards and upwards, Paul. Thank you, Gary. Really appreciate that. Appreciate your support, 100%. Really cool. Look, ladies, gentlemen, thank you for being there. Thank you for tuning in. The members competitions essentially are coming to an end over the next week or so. If you've dropped out, it's because I've allowed all your memberships to lapse so that I don't take any more money from you, really. But stick with the main competition. Keep an eye out as well. Obviously, I'll be mailing you, but we are on the verge of launching our first interactive tasting, which will give you the opportunity to have us send you some samples of whiskey. We'll all be sitting there with the whiskies. By the way, US people, we've got a way of getting it to you as well. It's going to be slightly more expensive than guys in the UK, but we've got a way of getting it to you as well. So keep an eye on that, and hopefully in the not too distant future we'll be doing one of those, which I think is going to be obviously long overdue, but a whole lot of fun as well. Paul Martin said, "Night, everyone." That's me, I think. I think Cheryl's gone into my account and somehow, I don't know how she's done that, but she might be telling me to stop talking. That's what I think is going on. William Price, oh, here we are. I think the info you are given alters your opinion of a drink massively, also your surroundings as well. Yeah, I agree with that one, William, by the way. Surroundings, definitely has an influence on how you feel about your drink. Dave, thanks for this evening. Great as usual. Cheers. Good night. Oh, thank you, Dave. That's brilliant. Good evening from Barry. Thank you very much. See you next month, guys. Absolutely. Stay safe, everybody. Paul Musson is saying surroundings environment made a massive difference to our taste perception. Yeah, couldn't agree more. And I'm apparently saying my battery has run out. Look, thank you, everyone. It's been great to see you here. I'll see you, obviously, first Wednesday of next month. Keep in touch over Facebook and everything, and I'll be launching that tasting really soon. But until then, look after yourself, stay well, and keep drinking whiskey. Bye now.